Tech Trends 24/7 Leaders is a passionate podcast hosted by James P. Quinn on technology innovation. It provides insightful interviews with key and inspiring innovators in areas of corporate technology, office of the future, AI, real estate, sustainability, assistive technologies, and other emerging technologies. Tech Trends 24/7 Leaders will smartly position you where your business, life, and industries are moving for the future.
Jim Dooling is the founder, president, and CEO of Align, a technology infrastructure industry leader. With over 30 years of experience, Jim has transformed Align into the top provider of tech solutions and services for major corporations. Align is highly regarded for its expertise in IT advisory, infrastructure design and build services, managed services, and portfolio analysis. Align supports the technical infrastructure requirements of notable global organizations like Salesforce, Uber, Pfizer, JP Morgan, the NBA, Louis Vuitton, and Barclays. Welcome, Jim.
Jim, it's great to have you on the podcast. Really looking forward to our conversation today and a very timely and important topics.
Well, thank you, Jim. I'm thrilled to be here.
Absolutely. Jim, why don't we just jump right in? Can you just give me an overview of your responsibilities and focus at Align?
Yeah, I am one of the founders of a 37-year-old company, infrastructure company. We are a technology company. Our main focus is being able to help our clients make major change events happen within their technology space. Generally, we work mostly for enterprise type clients, financial insurance companies, mostly corporations, businesses. We have multiple lines of business. We have a workplace technology business, a managed service business. But for this podcast, I think we're here really to focus on our data center business and the things where we help clients with their infrastructure. And what we mean by infrastructure is when they're trying to make some major change or try to look at their data center portfolio, how and what would they do in concert with their real estate and their facilities to help make a good strategic decision on what they're doing with their technology. About 200 people across the country, across the world. We have anywhere from subject matter experts to program managers that help our clients to make these strategic decisions. And it's especially timely now with everything, again, that's happening in this great inflection moment with AI, and especially in the enterprise space for corporations that are trying to adjust their whole portfolio to come up with new innovation decisions on how they're going to help their businesses to adapt with this new technology.
Jim, what are you seeing CFOs and CIOs focusing on today?
Well, it's funny. We have various brainstorming sessions with a lot of CIOs and CTOs, and they continually come back to almost four major areas that they're challenged with. Security, obviously, number one. Sustainability, being able to make sure that they're 99.9999, being able to comply with all their internal and corporate regulations that they have. And then the balance between innovation and cost reduction. There's always pressure on CIOs, CFOs to continue to lower their cost, yet at the same time to try to innovate for a lot of the new technologies that are coming out. And this moment in time is another real decision point, not only for the enterprise space, but even for the hyperscale clients that we both serve. So it's really interesting on this moment in time.
Yeah, it's interesting on savings. I think obviously due to these challenging economic times, but we're seeing, and hopefully you're seeing the same thing, is that a lot of the savings are also being reallocated to the technology projects they want to focus on, that really getting them to the next phase of where they want to go. Is that accurate?
100%. You're walking a tightrope, right? Because all of a sudden you get challenges like the current one, which a lot of CIOs are dealing with right now, is this VMware license increase, which, the licenses are increasing almost threefold because they were just bought by Broadcom. And a lot of the enterprises are being challenged now with, they weren't expecting come December 31st that their license cost for that is going to triple. And how do you adjust on that from an operations cost and yet be able to try to figure out how to innovate and move to a new technology? They're constantly trying to keep aware of what's happening in the market and then how to adjust. And those are some of the things that we have conversations with them about, because we have, obviously, my subject matter experts in particular are well abreast on a lot of the things that happen in the market and options that we can offer our clients to adjust. So it's fun.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And then I think you really have a good window pane, Jim, in terms of what trends are you seeing right out in the marketplace today that are driving the marketplace?
Well, the big thing right now is a lot of clients that are trying to adjust to AI and trying to figure out that they, at one point, had a data center that basically maybe had an average of 10 kW power per cabinet. And now all of a sudden you're seeing cabinets get rolled in with 50 kW plus, and then trying to understand that their current infrastructure isn't able to handle that type of adjustments. It's a time now where firms like yours and ours need to be more in sync together, because there are a lot of real estate and facilities decisions that are being made, but it's really the technology that's driving a lot of those decisions. So unless we're in sync together with not only the real estate part of it, the facilities part of the company, and then the technology guys, the game plan fails. And so we have to be really in sync now more than ever. At one point, there was a handoff. Real estate's going to buy the particular developed property. We're going to buy from a REIT like a Digital Realty or Cyrus or whomever. And then the facilities team takes over and says, okay, we're going to put PDUs here, here, and here. And then technology picks it up. Now, all of that has to be in sync, because if you're not monitoring what's happening on the BMS side or the building management side with the monitors that are happening on the technology side, any failure in heat and power would be crippling to your operations of your data center. What we're finding is we've had to hire a lot more power and cooling experts within our company to complement the real estate and the facilities guys to make sure that we're all talking the same language to provide the proper solution for the data center.
Yeah, I think you bring up a lot of solid points. I think one about the collaboration between the real estate and the technology part of it, because it just seems that with every firm that's going through a digital transformation, there's a savings opportunity to really look at the current state, and then based upon their technology objectives, what is the future state? And you really need both sides working together. Is that the point you were hitting home? Because we're seeing that a lot, and I think you're right. You really can't do this from a siloed standpoint anymore.
Well, the big part is getting a good current state assessment of what their portfolio looks like, okay? And marrying the real estate needs and the demographic needs of where those potential data centers are going to be, with being able to understand from a technology perspective, all the way, again, Align handles from the physical layer to the application layer within the OSI stack. It's so funny how life has morphed here, right? The network guys used to think they were the king of the hill because they knew all the routing tables and all that kind of stuff. But now the big challenge, especially in the enterprise space, is what are the application owners doing with their data and their workloads? Are they going to keep it within their data center portfolio, or are they potentially going to start adopting more cloud type of solutions? So that has a big impact on the capacity that you're going to be looking for a real estate perspective, so that you can be able to come up with a really smart, cost-effective solution, okay, for your clients. We have to get in early, and that's why when we work with firms like yours and we marry our expertise together, that's the best way to come up with that solution.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And then what are some of the other pain points you're helping clients with, Jim, in terms of making a difference?
We're trying to work on both sides of the fence, which means trying to come up with innovative new solutions on what they can do, which generally is really trying to give them as much transparency into their applications and workloads as we can. So for us, whenever we go to a client, we're trying to come up with a solution that we collaborate together on, that the client, when we hand it off, that they are comfortable operating and managing that end solution, or as you said, the future state, right? So you really need to be able to have, okay, the right people that have the expertise. You got to be able to have a really good process that everyone can be able to collaborate and be able to understand what their expectations are within the project. And then you really need smart tools so that you're getting the information and the data to be able to make these decisions. So for us, we've developed a lot of really good tools along the way here to help manage that whole journey from current state to what's the new architecture, the implementation and design first, and then designing that solution to handing off and being able to operate it. I will tell you this, there's many, many challenges with these water solutions that are happening. People are in the dark right now. So the end client is really challenged with that solution, okay, of being able to understand that they're going to be able to operate the solution at the end of the day without risk. And right now, there are all sorts of new technologies that are coming out to be able to handle the power and the cooling for these big HPC servers that are coming in at 25, 50 kW a server, to be able to make sure that the right power is there, but more importantly, that you're going to be able to cool it going forward. We're already seeing solutions that were put in, water-cooled solutions that aren't working because they weren't designed correctly when they were initially put in. So we're seeing things like people putting in water solutions that they didn't think that they would have to filter the water at some point to keep it clean. And they're actually seeing them having chip problems, which again, the expense of these cabinets now that are happening, these HPC racks are costing $500,000 at this point. And so unless you design it correctly, operating it is going to become a challenge, right?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I can see that there would be some serious pain points being on the wrong side of that. So
yeah, 100%. And that's why this teamwork is so important, and picking the right partners and leveraging smart people. That the cost meter has changed, right? At one point, the real estate and the power were the most important or the most costly part of a data center. And even the construction part, that's not it anymore. It's these cabinets that are going in, okay, that need to go in with the proper design, cooling, InfiniBand networking so that they operate correctly, because the investment is huge. I mean, it's huge. So, yeah.
You mentioned AI earlier, Jim. From a high level, how are you seeing it impacting the thought process, the strategy of how you're assisting your clients?
That comes down to us working with the application owners and understanding what the business is expecting out of their applications and how they're going to help the business in the future. So part of that is, you can't just drop in a Dell or HP solution into the middle of a data center, okay? And then you need to also be able to understand what is the expectation of the application owners of what they're going to do with the data and with what they're going to get out of that power of AI, right? We try to stay out of that application layer because you can go down a pretty dark hole there. But what we try to do is work with and understand what the application owner's end state, future state, as you said it earlier, is going to be, so that we can be able to make sure that we're building the right infrastructure that they can be able to optimize that AI infrastructure and investment as best they can, right?
Makes sense. And then the latest in terms of density and size of requirements, what are you seeing in terms of the growth of that?
Oh my goodness, as good as I do what is going on right now. It's funny, I was out at PTC, which is a great conference out in Hawaii with a lot of the hyperscalers and cloud providers, et cetera, out there. And the numbers that they're talking about as far as these data centers that are getting built right now is incredible. You're even seeing a gigabyte data center in Nevada at this point. The interesting part is more for the enterprise space is even the scale of what they're looking at. At one point, we used to think, geez, going in and putting a 1 megawatt solution for a decent sized bank was a big deal. You're seeing them go after 4 20 megawatt data centers to handle just their own corporate environment. So the numbers are getting crazy. At one point, we got a opportunity for a 2 megawatt solution. This is probably about four years ago. And we were like, yeah, 2 megawatts. That's a great job. Unbelievable. as I was coming out of that PTC conference, one of our clients called us up and said, "Hey, we want you to help us with this 4 megawatt solution that we've got." And the PM who's running that for me looked over and said, "Jimmy, we just landed that 4 megawatt solution." I'm like, "Oh yeah, great. Okay, let's go." It's the numbers are just getting crazy. And the demands of power, which is a real interesting part, which I'm sure you're challenged with for your clients.
Definitely.
On trying to find and cooling solutions. It's just crazy.
Yeah, no, it totally is. And I think we're working on a couple projects right now where even like the local power utility, they're just being inundated with significant numbers of requests in terms of evaluating power, how they can scale power. And frankly, they don't have the team to address like all the requirements. For example, in one state with one power utility, the cost of doing an application was $10,000. Now they're going to implement a $100,000 charge. So it's something that I think you're going to see a lot more of that throughout the U.S. and also globally. Jimmy, I think that you've always been ahead of the curve in terms of with your firm, in terms of how you've approached the business. What are some things that set you apart with what you've done with the team that you have and where you guys are going?
Yeah, we've always had a philosophy at Align. If we were doing what we were doing 5 years ago, we'd be out of business. And in technology, you continually have to look forward. I will tell you this. I think for us, we've been a blessed firm for 37 years, having plus 200 people scattered around the world. We've done business in every continent. We're right now really US-centric with all the change that's happened in the data center market here. We want to make sure that we continue to never fail. It's been a very good run for us. I believe we need to partner with firms. I think being able to collaborate with this bigger solution that I've been talking about of marrying real estate facilities and technology is really important to success. We've been blessed with a lot of smart people in our firm. We need to continually be looking for talent and passionate people who love what we do. We've been in business and we've said it every day. When we wake up in the morning, you're looking for better benefits, fun careers, quality of life, and to be in control. And as we all know, technology is not quality of life. But with our solutions, we really think that we can continue to add value to our clients and look to provide innovative solutions that they can have and be able to operate in flexible environments in a data center and manage them correctly and efficiently and as cost effectively as they can. And I think tools and being able to have the transparency into the portfolio, the technology, and the BMS system is critical to that. It isn't just turning over the data center anymore. It's being able to make sure that the client can operate and manage it going forward as effectively as they can.
I think what you laid out there is driving value, which obviously in terms of the clientele that you're working with, I can see why you guys have been successful because it's been consistent over a long period of time. So continue to wish you much success. And before we let you go, Jim, we have just one personal question. If you're getting ready to go to a big meeting or a presentation, what's the go-to pump-up song to get you going?
It's funny. I could be as I hate to say it, but there was a song by Chicago many years ago called Beginnings. You're always looking for that feeling of the beginnings, of that great initial excitement, of like it's a Rolling Stone, pump me up. Those are the songs that, here we go.
Jim, this was a very engaging conversation. I think it's a really important area of the industry and the business. So let's stay in touch, and we'd like to have you back because I think, again, what I mentioned earlier, you have a very good window pane of what's happening in the industry and the market. So we'll talk soon. Thank you and appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much, Jim.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Tech Trends 24/7 Leaders. To learn more about technology trends, you can follow me on LinkedIn. You can also read my book, Tech Trends 24/7 and the Impact of COVID-19, which is rated a must-read book by CIO Insight. The book is available for purchase on Amazon or on our website, Tech Trends 24/7. When conducting research for the book, I was inspired to see how technology innovation was making a positive difference in people's lives. As a result, in 2020, I founded Beacon of Hope 365. Our mission is to leverage technology to help people in need. More information on the charity can be found on beaconofhope365.org. Thanks again for tuning into this episode, and a big thank you to my entire podcast team, Peyton Pellington, Sal Fortuna, and Carmela Patrone. See you on the next episode.